Alright, hey everybody. I hope you're all having a good spring break. I'm just going to make a video to keep everybody on track for next week. Just a reminder that your character, either the enemy or the main character, whichever you decided to do in your group, is due on Tuesday. Just the modeling, so don't worry. And I also have, I gotta turn them off, my screencast keys down here in the corner. There we go. And that'll show you what I've been pressing. So I can press X to delete, and now I have a nice empty scene. So I'm going to open up the side here and get us some background images of reference material. So I designed this little character, and she's kind of like a red bunny with like a power fist and some wheels. And as you can see, I drew her from the front and the side. I didn't do her super duper symmetrically. You can easily just, mirror half the image and swap it over. But for today, we're just gonna bring her up to the axis. Let's reduce the opacity so we can see a little bit better, and just try and get her kind of along the midline here. That'll do. Okay. Yeah, she's super not aligned. That's okay. So right now I'm in orthographic view mode, which if you press 5 on the numpad, it takes you between perspective mode and orthographic. So that's something that's important. This one just basically takes up all the perspective. And so if you press 1 on the numpad, well, in orthographic mode, it'll take you to the front view. 3 is the side view. 7 is the top view. And right now there's really no difference just because there's nothing in the scene. But so right now we have this image here at all views. Let's make it only front. So now if I press 3, nothing is there. But if I press 1, back to the front, we're back there. So let's add another image, the same image. 3D. Oh, PSD does work. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I learned a thing today. Let's go to the side view. Take the opacity down to the same as the other one. And this time, I've actually drew her backwards. So you know what we'll do? We'll flip her horizontally. Boop. And then shoop and shoop. There we go. So there's a number of ways to approach modeling. So now front view, side view. There's a number of ways to approach modeling. I'm gonna do just the basic, most easy, right out of the box way, which is to create shapes and put them where I want them to be. And I'm going to be using my hotkey Shift A. You can easily just go to this thing right here, Create tab. And if that's not open for you, just press T and it'll open. Let's make a sphere. Da-da-da. And we're not trying to be, polygon friendly. We can use as many polygons as we want because, we're just learning. And so we're just going to make sure you're in edit mode, because that means that the cursor will stay down here. So this is the origin of the object, and you want that to stay at the origin. So you want to be in edit mode when you're moving stuff. So let's make her a head. Pressing Shift D is your duplicate tool. Put that over there. Let's rotate it 90 degrees. And now we have kind of a little muzzle. And then let's duplicate this up here, and I'm locking to the Z axis by just pressing Z. So G is your movement hotkey. So GZ is that, Y is this, and then if I was in front view, I'd be able to do GX, and that would lock me over here. So let's say we're going here, rotate it like so, squish it in the Y axis to make it more ear-like. And look at it from the front, squish in the X-axis as well, and make it a bit taller. And there we go. So that's one. And now let's do the other. Kind of uneven. That's kind of fun. It's always nice to have a little bit of unevenness. There's no problem with that. And so right now we have all these facets here. Let me make sure I'm actually recording. Oh, good, I am, okay. What you can do to fix that is by changing this shading in Tools to Smooth. Now you have Smooth. And so let's give her some eyes. But as you can see, can't see through the mesh right now. Also, make sure you're in edit mode. So you press Z, or you go down to here and you can pick wireframe. And it occurs to me that everything is a little bit off. I'm just going to move it a bit like that. And once again, A to select everything, A to unselect everything. Hover over an object and press L to select that, A to unselect, L select. There we go. Okay. And it's tricky because I didn't, once again, try super hard to line things up in my drawing, and this would have worked better if I had, but here we are. And that's fine. Okay. Am I happy with that? No, I'm not. I'm going to come back to that. In the meantime, I'm going to put my cursor here with the left mouse button. I can put it wherever I want, and that is where the new object will spawn. So I can do a UV sphere, rotate it 90 degrees, and then let's bring it in, and then pull it out in the x-axis like this. A bit much. There we go. And then duplicate it like so. And they're inside of her head right now, which is no good. So let's bring them out. Wait. Okay. So we've got a head forming. It's not my prettiest head, but that's okay. Let's start on the body. So let's return our cursor to the center, and which is Shift C. Then you can let's make it a cylinder, and you can give it fewer vertices or more vertices down here. See how it changes that? One thing to do is make sure that you get rid of these weird ends to it, because they will not work in Unity. So you go in, you pick face mode, and you select both of these by shift right clicking, press X, delete faces. Okay, so let's go back to side view and start moving things around. So this here is going to be the top. That'll be her neck. And this will be her bum. Just like so. So now we have sort of the top and the bottom. And now we're going to make the parts in between. So back into wireframe mode, pressing, not that one, Control R, you can add an edge loop, which is basically just sort of a midpoint between the top and the bottom. And then once you go in, so Control R, left mouse button to do that, to sort of lock it in, and then left mouse button again to select where you want to put it. And then you can just move it just like normal. So Control R, and then if you're happy with exactly where it was, just right click, otherwise left click. It's a bit confusing, I know, sorry. And then she's got that poofy collar. Alrighty, so that's a bit closer. Nice. And bring it down and bring it in. And what you can do at the bottom here is you can press the space key to bring up your menu options and type in grid fill, and then grid fill will just do that. And you can change the spans, but it doesn't really matter. And once again, you can press smooth to smooth it out. So we've got the beginnings of a cute rabbit person, which is kind of nice. All right, so now we need to make the legs. And because the legs are kind of symmetrical, to save us time, I'm also going to save, because I should probably do that. Example 3D character. I'm going to create, so we're back in object mode. So we've pressed, so if we had this selected and it was in edit mode, we're pressing tab again to get out of it. And then once we have, we're in object mode, we can press Shift A and select an empty plane axis. So that is just going to be the origin of our mirror that we're about to create. So that's good. And let's create another thing. Let's start with another cylinder. Boink. And let's bring it back to 32. So back into edit mode, you put that over here. And what you can do is if you go to this little wrench over here, go in, select mirror. Mirror object is empty. And then now these things will do their fun thing. Let's rotate it by 90 degrees and bring it in. There we go. Bit much. There we go. All right, and once again, we have to get rid of these faces because they won't work. So now we're going to do something called extruding. So we take, oh, by the way, to grab a loop is Alt right click. Sorry, I should have said that earlier. So you grab the loop with Alt right click, E, and then so that basically gives you this this duplicate of the loop, but also still attached. And what you can do is to keep it exactly where it was, because we're happy with it, is just right click, and that'll put that right there. And then you can press S to scale it in, and then E. And this time we actually want it to be a little bit out, but if we try and do it like this, it'll look weird. So we can lock it to the X-axis, and then we can only do it in the X-axis. Okay. And then grid fill again with space. And that one I actually will reduce the spans because that's just ridiculous. And same thing on the other side. So E, and we're happy with it, so we press right click, S, and then E, X, like that, and grid fill and reduce the spans. Okay, so now we have some wheels. And once again, let's smooth those out. Got a little guy forming here. This is very exciting. Always save your progress. So back to the front view. We have these little kind of nubbins coming out the side. So we'll create another thing right here. So if you can kind of find the center of this spot, create another cylinder. Let's bring it down to 16. Bring it in. Not too far, because if this happens, that means you've reversed the normals and it won't appear at all. So there you go. So like that. And let's rotate it 90 degrees in the X-axis. Oop. I said the... Oh, it's the Y-axis. Haha. There we go. Once again, get rid of these ends, and you can go in and get the inside one with the from the wireframe. Delete faces. Alt right click to select the loop, and grid fill, and that'll move this whole thing in, and then get the whole thing. So A to deselect, to select the whole thing. Just hover and press L, and then duplicate in the X-axis, rotate it 180 degrees in the Z-axis, and then we're back here. You might notice that there's a lot of math. That's okay. Don't worry. You get used to it. So we got some wheels. Nice. And now they have to attach to her body somehow. So let's make some fun. Let's bring it back to the origin here. Let's make some UV spheres because they're easy. So an interesting trick is if you want to use 2 out of 3 axes. So let's say we want to scale it inwards in the Y and the X axes, but not in the Z axes. You press S and then Shift Z. And then it basically ignores that one, which is kind of nice. Back to the front view. Let's put these right over here. Okay. So these kind of need a bit of fine tuning, I think. They're a little bit weird right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide the wheel and only work on the leg. So what we do for that is you can press Shift H, and that will remove all of the parts of this object that are not selected. To get it back, Alt H. What other thing you can do is you can select it and press H, and that hides just that object. So Alt H to get it back, Shift H to focus on that alone. And you may notice this is still here because this is a separate object. We have the sphere, which is the body, and then we have the cylinder, which is the legs. And we created these separately because this one has the mirror modifier and this one does not. Okay, so going back into this, we're going to do something called proportional editing now, which is of huge help, and I wish I would have learned about it sooner, is you press O, or you press this little dot down here, and you do enable. So disable, enable. And you select just a point, and you press G. And now everything within this handy dandy circle here is going to be affected in kind of a nice fall off type way. So we do that. Let's give it some of those nice puffs. But we need less. There we go. Okay. And then bring the whole thing down like so. Okay. And let's get it back into proportional edit mode. And you change the circle size with the scroll wheel. Nice. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to give her a nice little cottontail. So we go back into the body because you don't want it to be mirrored, and you just add a little. I still have proportional editing on, but it doesn't matter because it's all the way back there. There. A big cottontail, I think. Because why not? Because it's cute. And smooth it out. Alrighty. And we're just going to attach the legs to the body by Alt-H to get it back. Let's make us some nice little cubes. Cubes are nice. Let's use cubes. And then make them smaller on the x-axis. And so let's get the top face here, once again, face mode as opposed to any other mode. So points, edges, faces. And let's bring it out a bit like this. And then extrude up with the E button as usual. And again. And let's just bring it in this time. And let's select that, duplicate it, and then make sure it's locked to the x-axis when you move it, and then rotate 180 degrees in the z-axis so it turns around like so, and then move it in like that. Alright, now we got some cool robot wheels. Nice. And saving, because saving is important. And so what do we have left? We have the arms. So, and the hair. We'll do the hair after, because it's most fun. So let's do the arms now. We can put them with the legs because they're going to need to be mirrored as well. So let's select the legs, go into edit mode, make sure you're in edit mode or it won't work at all. And let's find a nice spot for the arms. And let's make a little UV sphere, like that. And duplicate the sphere and just put it down here. Blink. Alrighty. And so now we need to connect these spheres together. So I'm trying to think, should I show you guys this because it's cool? I think I will. You don't have to use this trick. You can just use the cylinder thing that I showed you here, or you can just make a sphere attached to these guys. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to show it to you because it's cool. So because we still have the cursor there, we're going to create what's called a, where did they go? Where'd they go? Oh, I'm going to have to make a new object. One second. So we're going to have to create a curve. So we're back in object mode, creating a curve, a Bezier curve. And so what a Bezier curve is essentially points with directionality. So this one does this, and this one does this. Yeah, you don't have to use this technique. It's just kind of fun. And if you go here to the, I guess it's the data tab. I've never seen it called that before, but I've never really looked. And make sure it's half filled. Let's give it a resolution of 2. And you can actually adjust the depth, which is basically the size of the node. So let's say, let's move this guy G, Shift Z to move it only in the X and Y axes, and move it up like that, and move it up like this, rotate it like that, and if you want to change the size of this area, Alt-S. There we go. So let's get it pointing like that. And then this one will just drag over here. And Alt-S. Nice. Chonky. I like it. And let's also put it with a mirror. And make sure the object is the empty that we created. And then let's apply that. Oh, I have to, oh, I see. I have to, I can never remember which one it is. I think it's Control Alt C? Nope. Alt C. Nope. Okay, I have to be in object mode and then Alt C. And then mesh from curve, boink, and that will apply the modifier. And then if you select that and then shift select the, or this is actually fine, so we can apply this mirror as well. So now we have just regular objects. We can apply, actually select everything and press Control J. And now everything is together in one big happy object. Boink. Let's save it up. Okay, so we have that. Let's do the hair real fast. Might as well create a new object. And another UV sphere. Ooh, I didn't put it at the origin. Make sure you're at the origin by pressing Shift C and then create the UV sphere. Make it smooth because smooth is nice. And think. Let's get it lined up. And the reason I made it its own thing was so that I could proportionally edit it, because it just makes life so much easier when you can do that. So turn on proportional editing, and now you can start just moving things around. You can rotate. Fun stuff. There we go. Ah, a bit too far. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just first shot. There. That's some nice hair. And I think in the concept I had her hair kind of flying off to the side in a really cool way. So let's try and get that. There. And yeah, that's fine. And once we're in here, let's also re-add that sort of front bump there, just because I think it was cute and part of a good part of the design. So I'm gonna select only the head. And if you're ever not sure if you're selecting something, you can just like press A twice and it'll make sure everything is unselected. And we're gonna hide everything else, and we're gonna bring out the front like this. There we go. There. I think that looks better now. Okay, and I just gotta fix the eyes. Alt H. Ah, no proportional editing, please, thank you. And then just bring it back until they kind of sit nicely. There we go. Let's actually align it to the face contours a little bit, maybe, so it doesn't look crazy. Oop, there we go. Just gotta grab it. And there we go. Okay, I am happy with this. It is exactly what we're looking for. And if yours doesn't look quite like this, or it looks a little bit janky, don't worry, because that is totally fine. This is all you need to do. Let's make it all one big thing. Change the name by double clicking. Character, body, Rebecca. It's always good to have your name on things when you know there's gonna be a bunch of other stuff. Nice. Okay, I hope that was helpful to you guys and that you learned some cool stuff. Lastly, and most importantly, make sure that you press Control A, apply the location, and apply the rotation and scale. It will save you a lot of headache later, and just do it twice, or do it 3 times, and then save. All right, thank you guys for watching. I hope that wasn't too long and boring, and that you learned some stuff, and I can't wait to see what you guys have on Tuesday. Have a great spring break. Bye.